You ready to record a video about Gomez Addams today, mate? Oh, hey, listen to that.
ASMR.
You know what? Let's see if we can get a better one. I'll try and get the perfect ASMR can rope. I'm going to try and get the Coca-Cola Zero advert one.
Oh, that was pretty good.
That's the good one. Let's roll. We think most people would agree that Gomez Addams is a suave-ass motherfucker. Armed with a set of suits sharper than origami shark's fins and an endless supply of cigars, Addams' lavish lifestyle is reportedly funded by a series of bizarre investments that always seem to pay off.
That was one hell of a tongue twister.
It was, wasn't it? It's a good job. Good job I did it in one take like a fucking pro.
Armed with a lavish set of suits sharper than
an origami shark's fins.
I remember spending ages learning she sells seashells on the seashore, so I can say it quickly.
Yeah, seashells on the seashore. In the Seychelles.
In the Seychelles.
Yeah. She sells seashells on the seashore in the Seychelles. Oh, you got the other one, like how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Well, they're the famous tongue twisters, but there's one I know that's kind of obscure, because it's my favourite nonsense poem, and it's called Fuzzy Wuzzy. Would you like to hear it?
I would.
Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear, Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair, so Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't Fuzzy Wuzzy. So it makes me sound so cultured as well. Do you know when people like, a cultured man always quotes poetry? Imagine when I go to rock up to the first date, it's like, oh yeah, I like poetry. Would you like to hear my favourite poem? It's called Fuzzy Wuzzy. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair, so Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't fuzzy, was he?
So Gomez Addams has a lavish lifestyle.
Oh yes, like one of the most lavish in fiction, I'd argue.
So how much is the man actually worth?
And we don't know, because there is a discrepancy between the various comics, TV shows and movies made starring the character. However, most conservative estimates of Gomez Addams' total net worth say he's probably, at the very least, a multi-billionaire. That's a lot of cheddar for a guy who doesn't even clean his own fucking house.
So where does his fortune come from?
Some of it comes from his family, because the backstory of Gomez Addams, he's descendant from Castilian royalty and the British aristocracy, all of whom's wealth he inherited, and he keeps the majority of his money just like underneath his house in the vault that you see in like the movie that like Uncle Fester wants to like, go and steal. The thing is, I love that film, but I can't. It's hard to watch for me now because we've mentioned before, haven't we, that I just looked like Pugsley as a kid, and it always annoyed the fuck out of me. Especially when I found out the kid who played Pugsley Addams, and one of his acting headshots is the Milady meme. You know, the tips fedora. Put the picture. It's one of his acting headshots. It's oh no.
See, you had Pugsley, I had Gus Gus.
Who the fuck's Gus Gus?
The fat mouse in Cinderella. That was me. I was Gus Gus.
Gonna put up a picture of that. Thing is, though, I get Bo Burnham a lot now.
Oh yeah.
So it's Bo. Which I'm like the amalgamation. What is it? And Bo Burnham, Flint Lockwood, apparently the guy from How to Train Your Dragon. So I'm an amalgamation of all these guys. I think I got Brendan Urie a lot when I was in college because I had the same haircut as he did. So we should just combine. We should need to do the face combiner for all these celebrities and see if it makes me.
Well, the ones I get the most often, when I was in the cinema, I got Jack Black all the time. But we know, what is it? Currently, it's Samuel Tarly. So Gomez Addams just lives off his family's money.
To an extent, obviously, that's what gave him his fortune to start with, but Gomez Addams is a very accomplished businessman in his own right, even though he doesn't want to be. Because there are numerous comics and stuff that have established that. Gomez Addams is probably like one of the most savvy businessmen to live in that universe. Because everything he invests his money in just turns to fucking gold. And there's a few things he owns that are like, in keeping with the family's spooky, eccentric nature, such as a tombstone factory and a crocodile farm. Something I mentioned because, Brad, do you want to hazard a guess as to what Gomez Addams calls his crocodile farm?
I'm guessing nothing I can come up with is going to be as good as the actual name.
It's called Crocodiles Unlimited, which is fucking brilliant. And you can put like a list below the other things that Gomez Addams, I think like a nuclear waste dump and shit like that, all of which he buys because they're weird and they end up just making him a fortune.
That doesn't make him a savvy businessman, that makes him a lucky businessman.
No, because the thinking is like he's doing something right, we just don't know what it is. Like in one story, he buys a swamp for its scenic value and then later finds out, oh, there's just an oil reserve underneath it. Here's like $10 million.
Once again, okay. I'd argue luck there.
Another one, I think he buys at a market, a bazaar for like a couple of dollars. Oh, I'll buy that mummy hand. oh, it's the hand of an ancient pharaoh, here's more millions of dollars.
I was thinking, look, again there.
I think as well, he's also like a highly accomplished lawyer. And he always says like, oh, I'm really proud of the fact I've never won a case. But he also represents himself in court and then wins, which is stupid. One of my favourite characterisation moments in the entire film is just Morticia Addams, like just tending her roses and she cuts the heads off all of them. Because she just finds beauty in death and she's just there going, it's such a little moment, but I fucking love it.
Don't torture yourself, Gomez. That's my job.
Or like the Addams Family children. In the second movie, they get sent to like summer camp or some shit, and then they fucking just hate their life. And Wednesday Addams comes out like probably the greatest burn I have ever seen. It's like, oh, we need to like learn how to rescue a drowning victim. And like this little girl goes, oh, I'll be the victim. And Wednesday goes, all your life.
I'll be the victim. All your life.
Oh, it's so good. Just such a fucking burn. It was pointed out to me recently in the background of one scene that you don't notice, like Pugsley Addams is building a noose to hang himself because he hates going to camp so fucking much.
This is why he's sick all the time.
Oh, Val, don't start with me on that,
This
please.
is it. You did this.
Like in the first movie, if you go into his room, without it being explained, there's just loads of stop signs in his room, which shows that he keeps going out and stealing them, because at one point in the movie he's carrying one, and then later you just see he's got all of them, because he's collecting all the stop signs from
So the
around
people
the
keep
area.
crashing.
Yeah. So have you ever seen the breakdown that says, oh, Gomez and Morticia are the absolute pinnacle of what you should want to achieve as a couple? They love each other unconditionally and are constantly romantic with one another and always show their love for each other and their children. They support their children in all of their endeavours. It's like, ladies out there, you want your Gomez Addams. You want a man who worships the ground you walk on, but at the same time respects your individuality and autonomy and lets you do your own fucking thing.
So if Gomez Addams is just constantly buying companies and investing,
Yes.
how many of them does he own?
We don't know. He has his fingers in so many business pies that he himself routinely forgets that he owns entire companies.
He's clearly got so much money as well that he doesn't need to have any kind of like worry about it.
Oh no, he routinely just throws away thousands of dollars on random things. Like he buys thousands of dollars worth of cigars every month and he goes to, after the movies have shown, like he goes to auctions and bids on items he himself donated for tens of thousands of dollars just 'cause he's getting his wife a bit wet. It's so good. It's like, I will pay $20,000 for my own property because it's getting my wife horny. Fuck yeah. I love that. And again, he gives away so much. People asking for money, he just gives it over. He don't care. So, oh, please invest in my crocodile farm. There you go, done.
Crocodiles Unlimited.
Crocodile is so good. I wish I'd nicked it for Big Wangers. I wish it was Big Wangers Unlimited now. Big Wangers Inc. Unlimited. Limited company. It's not funny because it's British, it would be an unlimited. It'd be Big Wangers Unlimited. Limited. Like, he is so wealthy that, like, no less of an authority than Forbes magazine have been like, yeah, this dude is a fucking baller ass pimp. We estimate him to be worth, at the very least, $2.5 billion fucking dollars. And that places him squarely on the list of like richest fictional characters alongside characters like fucking Tony Stark and
Scrooge McDuck.
And Scrooge McFucking Duck, who tops it out every year.
Is he the most rich
He
fictional
tops
character?
it out every year because it's the vault. They calculate the vault is so much. The fictional like 15 is actually something I really like. Because people think it's just you're just putting this thing's popular. And like, so no, we actually have researchers we pay quite a decent bit of money to like do a lot of like, you know, math behind the scenes to calculate these net worths. And according to them, Gomez Addams is about 2.5 billion in today's money, which is a lot for a guy who just like, you know, has a crocodile farm. If a guy told me I own a crocodile farm, I'd be like, oh, good for you, mate. I'm also a billionaire. Well, really fucking like. Apparently, there's a lot of money in crocodiles these days that I didn't expect.
It's because they're unlimited. If you got an infinite amount of crocodiles,
Do you think it's some sort of like quantum crocodile farm where he just has like an unlimited amount of crocodiles at all times?
picks up a crocodile, turns around, turns back, and the same crocodile is still there.
Just unlimited crocodile.
You mentioned earlier about Pugsley collecting stop signs.
Yes.
I've seen as you were Pugsley.
Okay.
You actually collect a lot of odd things as well.
Yeah, I refer to them as conversation starters, is the way I like to talk about it. So I like having just a lot of random things around my house that people look at and go, what's that? And it starts a conversation there. Because you've been to my flat, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you can confirm one of the things I do in it is I don't have coasters.
No, you make us put it on games and shit.
Yes, if you want to like, have a drink in my house and you like obviously use a coaster, I have a big bookshelf full of like all my games and CDs and all that shit, and you go pick one up and use that as your coaster. And I found that's just good conversation because I collect a lot of like really old, obscure games and books and things like that. So people will go up and go to my PS2 game like, you've got Total Overdose. Why have you got 3 copies of Final Fantasy X? And everything on the shelf has a story behind it. I've got a really weird memory for stuff like that, so I can usually recall it pretty sharpish. And I can see you now looking over to the shelf in the corner of the office that has some of my like more eclectic items on it.
Yeah, because I remember you got a shelf because you didn't want the office to look boring.
Yes.
And as I walked in and you were setting it up, I looked at like I think some of the things I know the story of.
Yeah. There's some of the things you just don't. So you're gonna just grab something random off the
I mean,
shelf.
I can't get that far, but I can have a glance.
Okay.
I think because my mic is where it is, like you're looking a little bit further, but this shouldn't sound weird.
All right, fair enough.
If I turn my head, maybe. Right, so let's move downwards.
Okay.
All right, so we'll start with obviously the YouTube plaques on top.
Yes, our 100,000 YouTube subscriber plaque.
What's with the Chinese fan?
That's a fan I got when I visited China to visit my friend Adam, who lives over there. While I was over there, I had to pretend I was his brother because the only reason he got a week off work, he said, "Oh, my brother's coming to visit me." So I said he was his brother, and I got a fan. That means like brotherhood or some shit alongside my other friend who is blonde, who also pretended to be his brother.
The next shelf down is a set of nunchucks and a tin of dog food.
The nunchucks are from China again, and I bought them because they say on the bottom, "Made in China." Which I found hilarious. The dog food is the last thing from when my dog Penny passed away. When I went home, there was nothing left of the dog because my mum felt too sad to have stuff lying around, and it was a tin of dog food. So I like to keep it around so my old dog is always close by.
Space Jam VHS tape.
Oh, you never know. It might come back one day. you never know, do you?
A good moment to mention that podcast again, Z-Rex.
Z-Rex? Oh, it's just a book I bought for the... Do you know what? Pass me Z-Rex. People need to fucking see Z-Rex.
This could take me...
Unplug your mind. People don't know what the fuck is Z-Rex, and it is the best book in the world. Because people always say, oh, don't judge a book by its fucking cover. I judge this book by its fucking cover, because look at that shit. You know, look at that. It's a book with a 3D dinosaur on the front. It's amazing. Z fucking Rex, man. Steve Cole, the big dick OG of the book world, man. I love this thing. Right, is there anything else on my bookshelf you want to laugh at?
An Action Man.
Oh, that's my favourite Action Man. That's Ninja Assault Action Man. He's the one with the double knife-ended thing.
The Luchador mask. The very early video, we had one of them.
Yeah. I bought them for the bedroom.
Were they ever used?
What? Once or twice.
What's the lunchbox for?
Well, to remind me. What does it say on the front?
It says, hustle, loyalty, respect.
Never fucking forget.